Okay, hello everyone to our weekly webinar. These webinars are getting more and more excited as we're getting closer to the conference. And we're just using these webinars to show you the variety of speakers, the variety of topics. Today it's extremely interesting, I think, because we are going to talk about exits and we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. And I'm pretty sure that many of you are excited about both of these topics, especially, I guess, the exits, as when you start with the idea of a startup, you think of an exit. And we have a very special guest exactly on this topic, Boris Pavlov, or like I call him, Bobby. Nice to see you here, Bobby.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here. Looking forward to the webinar and, of course, the event coming up in November.
Looking forward as well. So before we get back to you and talk about exits, I just wanted to make two or three um, general announcements. For those of you who still haven't understood, we are meeting in November, 8th to 10th of November. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've chosen the most boring days in the year so that everyone has kind of nothing better to do and comes to network, to learn, and to grow. And we are going to meet at Sofia Event Center. We're going to have two or three more additional locations, but the main location is going to be the Sofia Event Center, where you're going to enjoy the largest amount of sessions we're going to have. For those of you who want to be informed regularly about updates about the conference, new speakers we introduce, webinars that we are organizing like this one, and any other updates. If you want to be the first one to learn about all these things, we do have a Viber channel, and it's an official group. Viber is an official sponsor, so you can join the community, and there you'll be getting updates. We promise not to spam you too much. It's just about communicating information regularly and important information critical to the success of the conference. And an important note here is that during the days of the conference, we are going to use the Viber channel. So every hour, we are going to have sessions starting in different locations, and that's where we are going to communicate that so that you can kind of stay on top of the dynamic agenda we have and decide where you want to go. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is we launched a YouTube channel. So in this YouTube channel, because we are doing so many webinars, and I know that on a weekday, maybe not that many people have the opportunity to join live. So what we are doing is we are gathering all these insights with our lecturers and speakers, and we're publishing them on a YouTube channel so that you can rewatch them, you can learn, and you can get inspiration from our exciting speakers. The way to subscribe for the channel, here we've put a link so that, again, as always, you can scan the QR code. It will take you directly to the YouTube channel. And as you can see, we have a lot of content there. There will be even more. And also at the days of the conference, we'll be putting more and more exciting things there, so you don't want to miss it. And now let's talk about, I promised we'll talk about exits and we'll talk about entrepreneurship. So Boris or Bobby, like I said, if for those of the people who are going to watch this video and still don't know you, most probably they're going to go on LinkedIn and they're going to see, I think it's still your last post with from 0 to 600 in 7, and then exit in 7 years, if I quote it correctly. So can you tell us a little bit more about this success, kind of what you started, what you did, and how did you come to the exit?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, it's basically the last 7 years of my life. Before that, I was employed. I was working for a bank abroad. And then I decided to come back to Bulgaria and start my own business. I came back to Bulgaria with a completely different idea. Again, in the travel space, but something very, very different. And funny circumstances led me to discover this model where people are helping other people rent out their properties on platforms like Airbnb. So the model is very simple. You want to rent out your apartment on a short term basis, but you don't want to deal with all the hassle of having to list it on Airbnb on Booking.com, having to check in guests, to clean after them, to help them when they get locked outside of the apartment in the middle of the night in their underwear, and that's actually a true story, one of many that we've had
I
over
can
the
imagine.
years. Yeah. We've seen a lot of things because we technically work in hospitality at the intersection between real estate and hospitality, where homeowners who used our services were actually generating higher revenues as opposed to the traditional long-term renting. So it all started in 2017. I saw that this model was working well in the UK. It was solving a problem for homeowners like myself back in the day. So I was like, okay, that sounds really simple. You don't need any initial investment to launch a business like that. There are no barriers to entry. So all I need is a website, which I created by myself using Wix.
Nice.
And I can do it. I can list a property on Airbnb. I can certainly find someone to help me with cleaning. I can do the guest communication, like talk to guests prior to check-in. I can meet with them at check-in, and they can be, you know, at the apartment, have all of the facilities that they need, and they can enjoy a very nice stay. So that's what I thought in the beginning. And I started onboarding properties one by one. People back then, I think they believed me more than they believed the model. It was 2017. A lot of people hadn't even heard about Airbnb back then. That
Yeah.
might sound surprising to the audience here. But yeah, it wasn't that popular in Bulgaria. So I had to explain what Airbnb is, then I had to explain what our company was doing. And well, I mean, I say our, but it was a one man show back in the day. I was just by myself, something I would never do again. Starting a company by
Well,
myself, it's super tough, especially when you're in a 24/7 kind of business.
yeah.
Hospitality is a 24/7 business, and you deal with real people. Um, of course, you have the SaaS companies where there could be a major bug in the system could be down, and that's going to be horrible. But in our case, if our systems are down or if something not working properly, there are people on the streets in the middle of the night. So again, quite a huge impact on people's lives. So it started out like something where I was going to try out to see if I can be an entrepreneur myself. You could also call it a side hustle because I kept on working on my previous idea for a couple of months until I realized, I guess that's lesson two for me. You can't do two things at once when you're building your own company, your own startup. You have to be laser focused on one company, especially in the very beginning. So I dropped the other idea, started growing the company, got some partners on board, got the first employees, and little by little it started growing up until, well, now it's managing 600 properties or so, I don't know,
Nice.
something like that, in 14 or 15 locations throughout Bulgaria and Romania. It's the largest vacation rental management company in this part of the world, the Balkans, we say.
Yeah.
And we recently sold the majority stake in the company to the Polish leader in the vacation rental management market, which is backed by I believe it's the oldest private equity firm in Europe. Enterprise investors, oldest, definitely one of the largest in terms of assets under management. Took us a year and 4 months to close the deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like Instagram was sold to Facebook for like 4 or 5 times faster,
Well,
something like that, for a billion. And yeah, unfortunately, we didn't exit for a billion. But
I guess because your
yeah,
business was more unique, right? That's why they took longer, longer time.
I like to think that way.
Yeah.
And
Sure, that
yeah,
was the reason. Yeah.
yeah, so that's more or less the story. Of course, there were a lot of ups and downs. So we all remember COVID. It was very, very bad for our business. We got this drop of 95% of revenues in the first months of COVID, which meant, and we had like 15 people, full time employees at that point, and enough revenue to cover one salary.
Yeah.
So that was a
That's
tough
tough.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we had to move to, like, in the summer of 2020, the whole team, we moved to the seaside. We found this hotel that was never going to open. So we convinced the owners to literally give us the hotel for the summer. And I lived out of a hotel the entire summer, which
Nice.
I've always kind of imagined living out of a hotel that it would be super glamorous. It wasn't. Like, one moment I was handling reception desk, the other moment I was, helping people to park their cars because the parking space wasn't that big. And then the next thing I know, we don't have enough clean bed sheets. You know, it was
Yeah.
that kind of life. But it's hospitality. It's hospitality, and um, it's as tough as it is rewarding when you see people enjoy the services you can offer. So yeah, that's
Got it.
more or less the story.
I mean, you said so many interesting things, and I have so many follow-up questions on everything you said. And I know we are going to learn a lot from you also at the conference because we are going to touch on many of these topics. But maybe the most interesting one is you said that at that stage, like this started as a side hustle, and now it's like even a like full-fledged business that you even managed to exit in one way or another. So maybe the most interesting thing for me here would be, as I know that many people are coming to the conference who are kind of having this side hustle and are thinking of making it big one day, but are still maybe at the stage of this is a side business and I work on it from time to time. What was the biggest challenge or the biggest difficulty for you, like switching from working at a corporate career, where from what I've seen on LinkedIn, you were quite successful, into becoming a business owner and hiring people and working and like growing the business?
Well, you'd probably be surprised, but the biggest challenge for me was not, making the leap, not making that decision to switch. I had already decided that I don't want to work at a corporate anymore. I don't want to work any sort of institution. Not because I didn't like having a boss. I've been lucky. I've always had great managers, but because I wanted to build something by myself. But I suppose the biggest challenge back in the day was that you didn't really have a lot of support, and that has changed over the years. Bulgaria 2017, you had three funds, I believe, three
Yeah.
venture capital funds. You had no accelerator programs, you had no incubators, no events. There was Webbit, but again, Webbit is kind of for bigger startups. And I was reading a lot of books before I did that. Any book on entrepreneurship I could get my hands on, or actually get my ears to listen to, because I do audiobooks. I went through that, got some idea of what entrepreneurship was like. But then once you start doing it, I mean, the books don't help. Yeah, they help you in a more general, like bird's eye view kind of way,
Yeah.
but they don't help you with, how do I register a company? Oh, wait, I need someone to do the accounting for me. I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Now I have to pay social security. Now I have to register for this and that, and all these admin stuff alone. That was a challenge. Then, of course, it was challenging because I had to live off my savings, which were not a lot. There's this thing they say about bankers: we really suck at personal finance, and it's true. I'm living proof of that. So I didn't have too much savings. I didn't have a comfortable runway as a person. Obviously, my expenses were not that big. I was single at the time, but still. So living off your savings, trying to figure out how to build that thing, to build that business without having mentors. That was a huge challenge for me, because the first time I got mentors was 2018, 2019. After I had already
After.
started, I had paying customers, the thing was growing. So I would say it's easier. I would I would say it's easier to start today because you have all of these resources at your disposal. Your event is a very good example of that. So we didn't have events like that back in the day. So I guess the lack of support, professional support, support of people who've been through it, that was the biggest challenge. I had to figure out things on my own.
Got it. Got it. So it was definitely sounds like a tough journey, but I mean, I'm not surprised you made it through it. But as you said, exactly that's why we're building this event, right? Because sometimes people ask us why we're doing it, and for example, we're going to have exactly such a session where we explain all these things about accounting. It's not going to be us explaining, right? Like we're inviting the right experts for that. We're going to have a legal company, accounting company. We're going to have even some banks that explain kind of what is the best way to manage your money and so on, because all of these things are new to a person who just starts a business, and I think it's totally normal that someone didn't know about it, right? Like before, like you started a journey or like an enterprise, you didn't know how it is. The same thing, for example, about M&A or due diligence. As you said, it took you a year and 4 months, 4 or 5 months, right, for the deal. If that's the first transaction, it's totally normal that you actually don't know how these transactions are happening and what is needed and how it works. So I think it's that's why like we're inviting experts to speak on that. We're inviting entrepreneurs like yourself that can share their story and their knowledge, and that's why I encourage everyone to join and learn and kind of save themselves this learning curve of trying to do things on their own, having difficulties and so on. So maybe another question that for me, it's really, like I said, there are so many things I want to ask you about, like, I mean, the thing with the focus and so on, but maybe one more that I think is very important is, so we reached to the stage with the exit. And now I'm really curious kind of what's next for you, right? So you started from zero, you went to 600, you did the exit, and now what's next?
Yeah. Well, along the way with Flat Manager, we were constantly coming up with different ideas on how to solve other problems within our industry. So actually, Flat Manager is one company. Yes, it got sold, but there are two other companies that were born out of Flat Manager. One of them is a startup. It's
Mhm.
starting out pretty much now. Its market is Bulgaria. It's real estate. It's disrupting the brokerage model currently existing in Bulgaria. It's sort of challenging the status quo by delivering a more digital process without any brokers, taking fees from both sides of the transaction. That's called
Nice.
Flatimo. It's starting out. And it's the most recent spin-off. But a year and a half ago, with some of the people from Flat Manager, we decided to go after our dream because I have to admit, in the very beginning of Flat Manager, I didn't really have a clear vision of where we wanted to be in 5 years. I sort of just like went with it, learned about the industry of vacation rentals, Airbnb, and all that part of the business world. And it became more and more apparent to me with the years that there were flaws in the model of Airbnb, Booking.com, and the other platforms. Some flaws were that they were not suitable for midterm rentals, like monthly stays, etc. And we decided to tackle that with Flataway, which is where I'm currently working as a full-time CEO. I haven't been operationally involved with Flat Manager for the past year and a half, apart from the exit deal, which obviously had to
Yeah.
happen with my support and work. So with Flataway, we experimented for a year and a half in search of a product market fit in the midterm rental segment and digital nomads, and that failed. So I can also speak about failure.
Yeah.
Um, and now we are pivoting. Over the past 2 months, we've been working on a very, very exciting pivot because we stopped being afraid of being perceived as a competitor to Airbnb. So one of the reasons, consciously or subconsciously, that we decided to go for midterm rentals, digital nomads, like a niche within the vacation rentals industry, was that we were afraid to be perceived as competitors of large established platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com. We're no longer afraid. I think we are in this state of mind where we could achieve anything we set our minds to, and we're experts in the industry that we're presenting a new model to. So Flataway is going to be a new model. It's going to launch in a couple of weeks. I'm not
Nice.
going to get into a lot of detail. I'm just going to tell to everyone who's listening, imagine having a platform where you have only high quality, professionally managed and serviced apartments that you can book anywhere in the world, which will always be cheaper than Airbnb. So that's going to be a
I
proposition
I
for
already want to
businesses.
sign up, Boris. So
You'll be able to sign up. It will be a closed platform, though. You would need an invite, a referral, but let's think
so
about that. Maybe
yeah, I hope
maybe
I
you
get
could go
invited
with a
after all
ticket.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You certainly get invited. Maybe some of the people who are listening have heard about Best Secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's for clothes. Well, Flataway is going to be the same, but for travel. Um, And yeah, we're taking on Airbnb. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I know people are going to laugh at us, and I don't care at this point. We know we have a great model. It's being validated. So it's super important. I'm not just saying that. We've spoken to hundreds of companies like Flat Manager around the world, and we know that they want this, and we know that
Yeah.
we're solving a huge problem in the market for them more than for the users or for the guests. So super confident that it's going to get us pretty high up there in the disruptors of the vacation rental industry list.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you'll get there. And maybe one question, because you mentioned something very interesting in the beginning, saying that if you knew kind of how much effort it is and what a chaos it will be, you wouldn't have done it alone. So, how do you normally decide if you want to start a venture alone or with a co-founder? What's your logic or rationale behind it?
I mean, look, from my perspective, you don't even have to deliberate on that. It's clear. When you're alone, what do you gain? You gain the fact that you have 100% of the shares in your company. Amazing, you have 100% of zero. Now, if you get a co-founder who is your very close friend and you like doing the same things and you study the same school, you study the same things, not a great idea. Why? Because you need someone who can complement you, not someone who can be like you. Yes, you need to get along with the person, but you don't need to be best friends. Actually, on the contrary, it's better for you not to be best friends, because you don't want to hire another you, because if you hire another you, you're going to have the same skills. Yeah, you do everything two times faster in a certain domain, but then another domain which you need for the business to operate will be lacking. So for me, it's not a matter of choosing whether to start alone or not. It's a matter of trying to find the right person who complements your skills and starting something who believes in the vision. Obviously, you have to be aligned on vision, on mission, on goals, and all that. And try to find that person. Do your best to find that person. If you can't, yeah, sure, start alone. But if you can, then just get that person to join you and start working together. Even if your business is not 24/7, where for purely practical reasons you need someone else because you cannot work 24/7. I did it in 2017 for 9 months, and I lost a lot of weight. I looked miserable. I was miserable. I had 0 days off. So even if your business is not that nature where you have to be available all the time, it's still better to bounce ideas off someone, to sort of split responsibilities when you're feeling down, when something happens in your personal life that's obviously affecting your professional life because it's connected in the end of the day, then they can pick up the slack that you leave behind. So there's so many reasons why you need a co-founder that I just don't think it's really something that you have to think about, should I do it alone or not.
Got it. Well, that's very valuable advice, and I think it overlaps also a little bit with previous guests we had here. Christian Kunz, for example, he was a former director of Plug and Play, and like kind of he saw many founders that they were investing in over the time. He was saying something very similar about kind of finding a complementary profile. I think we also had like Nicholas Köster, who's also coming from the Better Cat. That's a very exciting venture, by the way, about kind of cat food and cat accessories, completely online. That, by the way, everyone's going to meet at the conference, and they were also mentioning something exactly about defining this complementary skill set. Okay, so maybe one more question here would be, can you give us an example? I'm sure that you had to take many difficult decisions. So can you, and like we try to learn from you because apparently you're doing something right if you if you got the exit. So can you give us an example of like a difficult decision you had to take, and how did you go about that? What was the logic behind it?
What was the logic behind it? Okay, so I'll give you one where there was logic and one when there was no logic. It was just gut.
Okay.
I'll start with the latter. 2020 revenues down 95%, 15 people on payroll. What do we do? At that time, the answer was it was probably obvious for anyone outside of the company. You know, just let go of the team and hibernate, try to survive until things pick up. I did the opposite. Kept every single person on the team, including a person who had joined a month ago, still on trial, like easy to let them go. But no, I was like, okay, taking a huge risk here, but you fire three people out of 15, the other 12, they're going to be like, okay, they're going to fire me
Yeah. What's
any
next here?
second now.
Yeah.
It's not firing, it's like letting go of the people. And everyone was super understanding of what was going on. So that was like, that didn't work for me. Option number two, close shop. And then it's all over. Option number three, figure it out. I mean, there's always an option number three, four, five, six. And then I went for that. Didn't fire a single person. We started thinking of completely different businesses. We were going to do board games and stuff before finding that hotel at the seaside that we managed. And, with the same team. We just started thinking. I remember that's going to be probably interesting for you in the context of this conversation. You know the business model canvas that you
Yeah.
doing with startup accelerators. Every single person from the team had to do one, had to generate an idea for of a business that we could do and create
Nice.
that. So that was keeping people busy. That was keeping us talking to each other every day at 10 o'clock. We were on a Zoom call and somehow kept the spirits up, kept the morale up, and then we somehow made it. But that was a gut feel decision. Now, the other decision where it was very tough is doing the pivot for Flataway, which
Yeah.
was recent. And that was based on mathematics. So we saw that we had a product that was really cool, but maybe not solving a problem because sales didn't show that people really wanted that product. Even though people were saying that they loved the product, it was called subscription living. It still is on the website right now, but it's going to be deactivated next week. Amazing thing where you pay a monthly rent fixed and you live anywhere in the world. That sounds super cool. And every single person we've shared this with, they're like, oh, that's amazing. I really want to do that. But ultimately, people are not buying. And we were like, okay, if people are not buying it and they're saying it's so amazing, then there's a problem there. Then we need to change something. Instead of trying to figure out, what should we add more destinations or should we do different packages, we were just like, okay, no, there is a bigger problem out there. We can solve it. We the mathematics don't make sense on this thing.
Yeah.
Let's throw everything in the bin and start over, and that's what we did.
Got it. Okay, that's I mean, very very interesting examples for kind of two totally contrarian ways to take decisions. Great, Boris. So, I mean, I think by now everyone's persuaded there are so many great things to learn from you during the conference, where we're going to have networking sessions, we are going to have your session as well, and like there are so many opportunities to kind of chat with you and to get more from your wisdom. Maybe last question to everyone who right now is wondering if they should start their own business. What's your advice to someone who is just starting?
Well, if you have a problem to solve and you have an idea for a solution, do it. I mean, look, what's the worst thing that can happen? You can fail. And in reality, what, 90 something percent of startups fail. So you'll be just like everybody else, pretty much. So it's, don't, my advice is always that, like, you only regret not taking the opportunities instead of taking an opportunity and failing at it. Obviously, there's opportunity cost. It depends what stage in life you're in. If you're, just recently married, expecting a baby, no savings, then maybe not the best time to
Yeah.
leave your nicely paid job and start a new business. But if you don't have any huge constraints, then do the jump, try. You can succeed. There's a very good chance at it. You can also fail, and that's also amazing because you've learned so much from starting your own business. So it's totally worth it.
Nice. Thank you, Boris. I think that's another piece of great advice from you. Okay, so I would like to thank you very much for joining us today, for sharing your story and like all of these kind of approaches to or attitudes towards the different situations that are happening in an entrepreneur's life and how you go about them. It was extremely valuable, at least to me, and I'm pretty sure to everyone who will be watching the recording as well. So thank you once again. We are going to meet you in November at 8 till 10. We're very soon going to announce the exact schedule so people can see at what time exactly your session is, and then they can go, especially for the session or for the whole 3 days of the conference. Thank you very much, Boris.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Audrey. Thanks so much for having me. Really can't wait for 8th to 10th of November. I'll be there. Looking forward to meeting everyone. And yeah, good
Great.
luck with organizing. I know it's tough.
Thank you. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. We're having a lot of fun. Great.
All right. See ya.
Thank you, Boris.
Bye.
Bye. Great. So we continue with several announcements. As always, that's just a kind of reminder for everyone. We do have the opportunity to pitch your idea in front of investors at the conference. I know many of you already applied and submitted a project. The way to apply is just scan again this QR code, or if you go to the website, you're going to find all of these things in the navigation. So you can just go there and select. It's a very basic form. We need some contact data from you because otherwise we cannot get back in touch with you. And we also need you to send us a short description of your idea or the business and what stage you are in. Why are we doing that? Because we want to match you with the right investors. So, for example, if you're just starting and just have an idea, apparently we're going to match you rather more like with business angels and people who would enjoy co-developing, co-designing, working with you. And if you are rather more mature, if you already generate a lot of revenues, and if you're looking for the next stage of expansion, then we are going to match you with investors who are looking for more mature businesses to invest in. So just go to the website, apply there. It's a very short form to fill, and we'll be very soon in touch with you so that we can talk a little bit more about your participation. Then the workshops, we've been talking about it so many times, and this is the first time we are going to announce them. So we made many surveys where we were asking you what are the skills that you want to develop or you want to have. And these are the different topics that we selected. So apparently many of you asked for selling, B2B sales. So I'm going to hold a seminar on business value selling. Most probably I'm going to have a surprise guest for you. We're going to announce it very soon, and you're going to see who's that going to be. But definitely the topic of sales will be covered. Then we're going to have financial management. So here Estelle is joining us. She's currently the head of finance at Alcatraz AI. So a lot of expertise. She has had a great career on finance. She can tell you all the little details, and she'll help you to manage the finance of your company. Then we have Tim Yek joining us on effective pitching. Tim is an investor already. Over the last years. He invested more than $1 billion in different businesses with the funds where he was participating. So apparently here he's going to give us a lot of insights on how to structure a pitch deck, what are investors waiting to see or waiting to or looking for, and then you're going to have your pitch deck even better and like kind of more ready to go. Now, Ivan Tsukefu is joining us as well. He's going to, for those of you who know him and who follow him, he has also books on goal setting, and he's going to organize a workshop for us where you're going to have the opportunity to understand how to set goals, how to implement them, how to go about them. And at the same time, we are going to apparently prepare, you're going to set your goals and then most of the time also find or agree on an accountability buddy who is going to help you achieve your goals. And then Georgi Malchev, or Joro, the way I like to call him, he will be joining us with marketing topics. So we're still clarifying exact topic of the workshop, but very soon you're going to have the opportunity to sign up for these. So as we said many times, all of these workshops, they require pre-registration. So very soon there will be a process, like there will be a page where you can register for the different workshops. You can register for as many as you want, and places will be limited, meaning there will be most of the time 30 to 50 participants maximum in a workshop. And apparently you'll be able to see what time they are in, what suits you, what doesn't overlap with other different sessions that you want to visit. And based on that, you're going to be able to subscribe and decide which workshops to go to. So enough on workshops. One thing that I wanted to share next is we do have the different surveys that we are always running on the ecosystem. And I think this one is extremely exciting. If you remember, I was telling you about a survey we ran in March where we were asking different entrepreneurs from the Bulgarian ecosystem on what has improved in the Bulgarian ecosystem. The reason why we structured it like that is because we really wanted to go for the positive thing. We wanted to understand what is really perceived as improving and not generally the situation, because it's easy to criticize or to complain. What we want to do is show you the great and positive things. And one thing that's really amazing, and we will compare also with other countries, but apparently here you can see that 1.2 million of Bulgarians are actually members of an NGO, which actually means that every fifth person, more or less, is part of an NGO. I mean, of course, many people are actually members of many of them, but generally, on average, it would be every fifth person, right? And that's amazing, because that actually kind of means that all of us are trying to do something good, to bring impact, and to kind of cure the things in society that we still want to be that we still want to have cured. So what we've done here, I mean, as you know, we have many partners. In a second, we are going to find out who won the question with the partners. But here we've put some of our partners on the chart so that you can see. I mean, we've tried to classify them, because if we just put 20 logos, all of us will be lost. So what we try to do is show you which of them have more like kind of a regional impact, national or international. And then we also split them into, if you are creating a startup, is it more like if you're in your early days, in early stage, or is it more like kind of for all ages and so on. So, I mean, several that you're going to see also at the conference are, we have the Startup Factory with our friend Emo who, in Russia, who is, I mean, they're doing so many great things. They're teaching digital skills. Over the years, they had more than 100 events and generally 300 projects that were all about kind of stimulating entrepreneurial activities. Varnapreneurs, who hasn't heard about it, it's a very strong community that Galin managed to build over the last year and a half. I would say they already had 11 or 12 events, even more, I think, now with the summer season, where they're really uniting the community in that part of the country. Then we have the Elevate incubator that they're just about to start, I think, in a week or two. The new season of the program, over the years, they completed more than 35 projects, or they gave life to 35 projects that are helping entrepreneurial people to find the right skills and to build a successful business. Then at the national level, we do have the BESCO Association. For those of you who still haven't seen that, or who still haven't seen their initiative, right now they need your help. They need your signature. So please go on their any channel of theirs. Actually, they're populating everywhere, or on their webpage, and you're going to see how we can help them to get even more, like even stronger position in order to represent the rights of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. ABLE, that I'm also very proud to be a member of since 2010, and even now in the senior advisory board. They do have so far, I mean, they're teaching entrepreneurial skills all the time, and over the years they brought more than 10,000 people, more than 1,000 people closer to entrepreneurship by teaching them the right skills, meeting them with the right entrepreneurs, and so on. They're also going to be at the conference with a very, very special slot in the agenda. Then we have Tinnovator. Over the years, they've done so many projects. What generally they do is like they also encourage young people to explore the entrepreneurial side they have, and normally they manage to cover around 380 youngsters per year. Bulgaria Innovation Hub. We are going to hear from Pavlina. We have a special session. She's going to teach us about all the things that they've done over the years, but generally, like, they have a huge impact connecting Bulgarian businesses to the US. Over the years, they've had 62 businesses that were connected there, and all of these businesses generated in total 1,800 new jobs. And this is just amazing impact for Bulgarian businesses. Then Endeavor, over the years, they had 6 cohorts. I mean, who hasn't heard of them? Right now, they have around 55 alumni, the selective they are, and they have so many hours that are donated for good causes. So cheers for them as well. We're going to hear from Momchil at the conference. And then, of course, we have Tuktam. Right now, the kosher is happening, the biggest event. So far, I mean, the event is amazing. I'm jealously watching every part of it on on Instagram, and they do have great appearances, great programs. So I highly encourage you to join as well if you haven't. What is even more important is that they are building this portal that delivers mentoring hours, and over the years they've delivered more than 3,000 mentoring hours. So that's amazing, and like keep doing the good work, right? So these are just some of the partners. We have so many, and over the next sessions, I'm also going to introduce more and more because I think it's really important to be aware that we have all these great associations, institutions, and so on that are helping. And it's great to know how they can help, and it's great to know what can be, how you can benefit from them on your entrepreneurial journey. Now, two more announcements. First of all, the winner. I know everyone was waiting for us to announce the winner. So the winner, as you can see, is Global Green Base. So we had, as always, the quiz. The quiz was asking you how many partners we have right now on the page. I mean, they're increasing every day, and very soon we are also going to announce. Yesterday, actually, we completed a partnership with Founders Institute as well. So because of that, you're going to get a very special opportunity to do an entrepreneurial DNA test that they are normally doing. So every person who signs up for the conference is getting access to it for free, and you'll get the results, and you'll be able to analyze your DNA. Let me see if this video will be showing you the transparent process of us selecting the winner. Yes, it should be like that. As always, we normally have these videos that are showing how we are impartially selecting the winner. The main idea here is that we would normally post the link of the quiz that you participated, and then the software selects one of the people who actually completed with the condition. The condition here was to give the number of partners and to select at least two of your friends that want to attend the conference. So congratulations to Global Green Base. We're going to write to you in order to give you the code for the free ticket. So then last thing is we do have a newsletter. I mean, if by now you haven't understood of all the opportunities that you can use in order to stay on top of everything that's happening with the conference, we do have Instagram, we do have LinkedIn, we do have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel that we just launched, and many of you have received an email right now about the YouTube channel and what content you can expect. Actually, this webinar is also going there as well, so that you can watch it later in a time convenient for you. And we also have a newsletter. In the newsletter, we are normally inviting you to check out some of the highlights of the week. We will normally announce some of the speakers or some new processes. For example, right now, the workshops, the investor pitches. So you can, again, stay on top of the communication there. I know there are many things going on around the conference, and that's a very good way to stay on top. Right now, there is a surprise on our website. If you go to the website and sign up for the newsletter, you're going to get a discount coupon for the tickets of the conference. So if I were you, I would head to the website, and then you will see it. I think it will pop up on every page. Subscribe, and you get the coupon code that you can use. So that was everything for today. Thanks everyone for joining. As you can see, this adventure is unfolding more and more steeply. We have less than 50 days left, and then we're all going to be together at the Sofia Event Center. So looking forward to meeting everyone in person. Thank you very much, and I'll see you very soon at the Sofia Event Center at Startup Bulgaria.